시작 전부터 함께였지. 이젠 어둠 속에 헤매이게 돼도 깊은 밤에 찾아온다 해도 새벽 빛에 사라진다 해도 여기 even if I can reach the light I can see it in here. Even if you are not with me, I feel you in here. 끝내 어떤 것도 변하지 않아도 닿지 못할 꿈이어도 그저 바라보며 담을 수 있다면 여기 even if I can reach the light I can see it in here. Even if you are not with me, I feel you in here. To be with you in
Good evening and welcome back to Keskalokil, my dwarven fortress by the sea where no one knows how to swim yet because I keep making a mess of the swimming training. When we left things last week, one thing I had accomplished was that I had finally dug all the way down to below the aquifers, with the intention that I would then build a new drainage system down there, which would be plumbed into the old drainage system and would have less of a problem of occasionally drowning babies. So one of today's jobs is to actually build the new drains, decommission the old drains, add more pumps and more windmills to handle pumping the water all the way back up from the old thank you, Jacob. That was actually an accident. Old drains, and possibly wall in some more of the river, which is slightly overflowing because I keep pumping water into it. I think we can't overflow the sea, so I think once I've got the embankments down as far as the sea, we'll be fine. Really, I should just have had the pumps discharge into the sea rather than the river. Jutton points out that indeed I am doing swimming training in that it involves riding minecarts through the sea, or through the water, which is a kind of train swimming. So the swimming training, I have a new minecart system for collecting minecarts at the end of the ride, which appears to be working rather nicely, though I do want to make a few slight tweaks. And I've been trying to extend the tracks that the minecarts actually run on, so the dwarves get to spend longer in the water. This latter is proving to need quite a lot of stone blocks. There is actually a cheaty approach where I could build bridges instead of tracks, but that feels cheating, and it means we don't get to see all the tracks going backwards and forwards. Not that we will, because it'll all be flooded with water anyway. So that what I'm thinking of doing there is actually walling off about here, building the set of serpentine tracks as far as here and adding one extra set of rollers, and then carrying on building the tracks in the dry out here while people play with that bit. And once we've got all the tracks out here laid, demolishing the wall and connecting it all up. So that, I think, is how that's going to work. So thus I don't need to make that many more blocks, because it's going to take so long to get this done. And I need to get some swimming training in so that my dwarves are less prone to drowning when they get into fights near the river. Oh yes, I've spotted here that a goblin tooth has ended up lying around in the dining room. Let's get rid of that. I think that's just like accidentally quantum tunneled through the wall. I also noticed we have a problem that all of our food, well, not really a problem, an anti-problem that our ingredient stockpile is completely full, which means that no one is collecting eggs, which has the slight danger that we may end up with a lot of small birds around, and you can't geld birds. And it also shows that we haven't actually got enough nest boxes for all the birds we've got, or at least we have more nest box. We have as many birds as we have nest boxes, and since we probably have, it's highly unlikely that we've managed precise equality. We probably have more, and thus I should make more nest boxes. Also, I've remembered that I wanted to reorganise these 3 coffins because they're looking untidy. Let us remove that coffin at least. Actually, and we'll just remove the one next to it as well, even though it's currently in use. And then the people whose tombs they are, can pick up new tombs. The king is grumpy at not having a tomb, and one day I'll get round to paying attention to him, but not today, maybe. Right, so what do we want to do? Have we got a decent stock of blocks? And one thing we want to do is to join the tracks together across these joints, and we can do that. I mean, this is going to make us some weird T-junctions that we probably don't strictly need, but still, that's fine. I don't quite understand. We seem to end up needing slightly more blocks than I would expect. Actually, let's try something a bit different here, actually. I'm changing my mind. Let's try demolishing the tracks and then building new ones, because at the moment it's charging me 2 blocks to lay an extra pair of tracks here. I think because I'm changing the shape of the tracks underneath, and I'm wondering if actually I could do better by demolishing the old tracks and then reusing the blocks we used for them to build new ones, or if I'll then be charged for them as well, but we'll find out. Those are all block tracks, so if I just go demolish those tracks, can I then connect them up, and will that charge me extra blocks as well? We'll see. And that means I've got slightly more spare blocks, which I can use to build the tracks here. So how far do we want to go? Have we got enough blocks to do that? Yes. So if I go from there, I'm doing one existing track square and 1, 2, 3 new track squares. That charges me 4. But one of them was a terminus. Okay. I'm like weirdly suspicious here. About whether we've like accidentally ended up with oh, that one I've missed and there's no connection there. Perversely, that won't actually make any difference at all. But like it's ugly. But let's let things run, and I'll do some experiments with. Actually, no. Let's cancel the construction of that square because I don't understand why that one was costing me anything. We'll do some experiments with track building. Then possibly I should work out what happened and write it all in the wiki, because I think there's an inadequate explanation of how the costs of tracks works. Right, and we'll build a wall across the room there, which will... all right, all of that lot has been abolished now. So now, if I say I want to join those up, it charges me 4. That's just extravagant, but I can do that. And that would actually work. It just looks wrong. I can totally go like that, but I end up with like an end of a track, which is just ugly. Okay, so let's try another experiment. What happens if I try to build around this corner before the first one has been built? Then I'm only charged 1. Right, so if you extend a designated but as yet unbuilt track, you get charged just the incremental cost. If a piece of track has already been laid and you try to lay something on top of it, you get charged a cost for a new piece of track.
This seems isomorphic to the thing I've just been debugging, in which if you add a couple of bytes to the buffer containing that your next TCP segment is going to be made out of, you only pay for those bytes. But if the previous TCP segment has already been emitted, you're charged a whole extra header.
Yes. So yes, it's obviously the packetization overhead of laying track. But actually, I've worked out how you solve this and how we fill these gaps in without paying extra for them. So yes, Steph points out that Simon being on the far side of the room is completely inaudible to the microphone that's clipped 6 inches from my mouth. Simon said that he'd recently been dealing with a system where it was very cheap if you emitted a couple of bytes into a TCP packet that hadn't yet been transmitted. But of course, as soon as it has been transmitted, or at least assembled, you now have to pay the entire cost of an extra TCP header in order to send the packet. Or rather, in order to send 2 extra bytes along the TCP connection. So what I can do, though, I can make... So Steph asks, is the end of the track irrelevant? Yes. So there's a weird thing that minecarts... You might think that a minecart was guided by a track, and that if you had a straight track, that a straight track was necessary in order for a minecart to travel in a straight line. This would be incorrect. In fact, for the most part, minecarts just like to be running on track because that reduces the friction. But they don't care which direction the track goes in. There is one exception, which is if the track is a 90-degree turn and they arrive on the tile from one of the directions that the 90-degree turn points along, the minecart will then leave or attempt to leave in the other direction that the turning track points along. But other than that, minecarts just go in straight lines. And if they are on track, then they will happily go in a straight line without slowing down very much. If they are off track, they will go in just as straight a line, but will slow down more. That of course is only true in 2 dimensions. In the vertical, they don't travel in straight lines because that would be silly. They are actually affected by gravity. So yes, Steph, you're kind of creating an ice rink with turners, indeed. But I want it to look like a railway.
I was confused by that's only true in 2 dimensions, which in my world normally means if you have an entirely 2-dimensional universe, the theorem holds.
Yes.
But it means in 2 out of your 3 dimensions.
Jetton says this reminds me of the super shocky sugarcane harvesting railways. Yes, Java's only barely functional railways for harvesting sugarcane. Only barely functional is the wrong way to put it.
Only barely classifiable as a railway.
Entirely functional, but
Only barely classifiable as a railway.
I mean, hey, it's not the shonkiest thing in the world associated with Java.
no. Yes, I think they would be offended to be associated with the other kind of Java. Right, so we can build. What I can do though is, having paid 4 for this, I can then cancel that square and that square, and we get something that connects up properly, but only costs me precisely the right amount. Hooray! No, looking like a railway turns out not to cost extra as long as you're clever about it. But we do thus need to... Well, let's join up these ones properly. No, not like that. I mean, I presume that the extra blocks that I end up using to build on top of existing tracks then will pop out again if I demolish the tracks. And like I can get all of them back. I don't know. Right, so that now looks right. Now let's... if we suspend the construction of the end, then it won't get... Then we can extend it because it hasn't yet been... because it's still just designated. I'm really feeling that I need to write up all these little tactics for the wiki. Demolish all of the track ends. And then we can join them up. Yes, that will work. Right. Steph has found some of Ahmad Arif's sugarcane railway videos. Are you about to build the end where I didn't want it built? Oh no, you're building the wall. Don't lock yourselves on the wrong side of the wall, that will be annoying. Right, so now a lot of the incorrect ends have been demolished. So is that square? That square has tracks in, but we need to actually designate them all the way around the corner. Oh. There's a problem. Oh, no, there isn't. I was going to say, I think that bit of track cost me 0 because both ends were merely designated. And so I think the material designation system was a bit confused in that it asked me to select some of the 0 objects that I needed to put in place. So I just have that 1 square to fill in there, but I have to do it by laying 3 and then removing 2. Oh no, I don't, because the left-hand one was designated but not yet laid. So those run up to there. I may not have enough blocks to do this, but we'll see. That was wrong, right. Extend to there. And then cancel that one, so that's correct. I can go at least as far as there. But we can't yet go all the way around the corner, so let's suspend the last one. So Steph asks, why does the old railway look nice and simple brown on black and the new extension is black on variety? Ah, well, that is because the old one has been underwater for some time. And so actually I think that's the colour of the mud. And I think what's going on here is that usually a square with mud on it gets reversed out. So it appears as something on brown. But here, track is already done as a reverse video, black on some colour. The surgeon is fighting with the horse he's trying to geld, I think. And so it gets inverted again and becomes brown on black when it gets muddy. So all of it will eventually turn brown on black. Is that one suspended? Yes, that one can safely be resumed. I think some of them get suspended because there are objects in the way, namely the blocks that are needed to build other things.
The objects in the way of other dwarves.
Right, so we're also going to need a propulsion system. So from I think my calculations said that rollers could propel a minecart about 19 squares in water. So, and we know that they can safely propel them all the way around one of those loops. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares between the roller and the wall. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would suggest the right-hand one of actually the end of that track is where we want the rollers. And that would still be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 squares from the roller. Maybe we should put it one further away from the wall just to be on the safe side. Well, kind of safe. I'm not sure that's safe either. Because you get extra slowdown from going round the corners.
As is tradition at this point, it's perfectly safe.
4, 5, 6. Well, let's try it and see what happens. And at worst, we have to drain all the water out and move the rollers 1 square. Now, that would be really annoying. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, okay. I think we'll put them slightly further back. So I think that means that I want to dig a hole in the wall there that a gear assembly is going to go in. there. And indeed, we'll make a hole in the floor above in a moment. Let's build everything else first. We need to wait for some of those blocks to be made. Meanwhile, of course, we do actually want to start working on the drains down here. So having decided that this is the layer where all the drainage is going to happen, what do we need to do? Well, we need to start digging actual sewers, I suppose, don't we? Let's go to a slightly lower priority. So I think that south end, yes, lines up more or less with. So where is that? So that's the one of the vertical shafts. So we're going to want at least so that means that we should probably head. We're pretty much under the coast here. Yes. So I think we should actually head west from here. We could head north a bit first so that we miss that staircase with the actual ditch for collecting water. And then dig a trench along here. I think that one may as well just go due west, frankly. We're about halfway up the north-south of the map. Let's just dig an entire trench across there. And an ordinary tunnel next to it. At fairly low priority. So, like, all the works up here will take priority over the works down there. Oops, no, I don't want to dig that. I just want to see if it's got. We've probably got more blocks by now. Let's see if we can fill in this gap. Yeah, no problem. And then we can cancel that one. Going to need to fill in that gap. And like, I don't think we actually had very many spare after that, did we? Let's leave the next bit until we've got like 10 more blocks spare. Should now be able to unsuspend that one, surely. Right, so now we're going to want a quantity of rollers and a gear assembly. Machines. So a gear assembly there. Can't put that one in yet because the tracks, there's still no track for it to operate, for it to be on. But we can start with the others. I bet we'll turn out to be missing something we need. So we should check the directions. So it wants to go to the right on the bottom one that we can't build yet, and then to the left there. I wonder if dwarves can see these rollers. So if they can, then we might want to put some good chains in them. I think I would kind of assume that they can't.
I'm not assuming that anything dwarves doing anything remotely sensible. It seems a very rash thing to assume.
So then the next one wants to go to the right. I'm sure rope works perfectly well underwater. Next one to the left. Next one to the right. Next one to the left. Right. And then we'll build one more once we've got enough blocks to build all the tracks. That also tidies up that spare mechanism that was lying around. Oh, we're also going to want some more minecarts, aren't we? How many minecarts can we store in this system? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in theory. Yeah, that seems a bit brave. Still, let's make enough minecarts for it just in case that turns out to be a good plan. Let's make like 6 more minecarts. That would take us up to 9, which is probably a more sensible number. Yes, bauxite is not the most helpful stuff ever.
Continue to stream.
We've made at least some more blocks. You had enough for about 4 more? 3, precisely, right. And then suspend the last one because I don't actually want it to be that shape. Then we're also going to want a hole in the roof here. But I don't know the buttons, so I have to do this a bit oddly. Right, so that will then allow us to build a windmill above to drive that set of rollers. Oh dear, yes, we do have a slightly unhappy child. Okay, well, that's notionally happened. It's not actually in a useful state yet. Oh, nest boxes. That is not actually a swear word. Let's just check if we've got any spare. Oh, we have got a few nest boxes. Lost it again. And then I don't think we've got any more, have we? No, right, good. And are there any more birds that need to be placed in here? Looking for anything that looks avian and female. Or I suppose technically reptilian and female, but I don't think we have any of those. Also, I think we should probably allow more of our dwarves to have pets because I think that would cheer them up. We'll do that in a moment. Do yell if I accidentally overlook a female bird here.
What a buffle!
Yes, those don't lay eggs.
There's a stray hen.
Oh, so there is, thank you. The Kia's male. Yes, the stray hen, Simon pointed out I had missed. Stray poult will eventually be able to lay eggs. We've got too many animals. This is why I'm gelding everything in sight. Right. Like, I would slaughter them, but we don't need the food. I mean, the food situation is less mad than it was. We did have 2,500 and we don't now. Yes, let's visit our list of livestock and say that at least sensible kinds of animal are available as pets. Like if you happen to want a guinea pig or a rabbit, or a dog, you get no control over where the cats can be used as pets. Cats are things that just happen to dwarves. Grazing animals, I think, are rather too likely to be killed by passing goblins, so hence causing unhappiness. Ilral Kubuk Glathon appears to have at least 3 kittens. Oops, no, I didn't mean for you to be slaughtered. I meant for you to be a pet. We have too many puppies. Right, getting close to the bottom of the list. Right, there we go. So if any dwarves want a dog or a guinea pig or a peacock or a chicken of their very own, they can now have them. Well, I suppose masterpiece minecarts are probably going to cheer up the dwarves who ride in them. Where have we struck milky quartz? Oh, there. There, we've discovered the caverns. I wasn't expecting that. Well, I suppose that's a way to simplify the drainage system. You just go sod it and dump all the water in the caverns. Like, we should probably put a grating over it to stop things coming up through the caverns, but... Right. How are we going to handle this then? We don't actually need it all to be this deep, do we? So... Jordan asks, isn't dumping water in the caverns a problem if you want to explore them later? Or does it water run off the edges or something? I think the caverns are guaranteed... Well, the caverns usually extend off the edge of the map. So usually, if you pour water into them, the water will eventually escape. Now, we will probably flood the bottom of the caverns a bit. But I don't think that's actually dangerous. Like, the bottom of the caverns is a long way down. We can always explore them by building bridges across them anyway. There is an awful lot of down in these caverns. Like, we can see the bottom. It's 74 Z levels below the surface, though. Which, given that the highest point in the caverns that we can see is a mere 12 Z levels below the surface. The caverns are big. So, yes, right, I need to think about this a bit.
You may think it's a long way down the line to the aquifer, but...
Right, so I want to close this level. I want to drain the rivers into a layer that doesn't have aquifers in, which means I think that I do want this bit of tunnelage still to exist. So what I think I want to do is probably to keep cutting this out and then to construct some reasonably sane setups up here that like drain straight into the caverns. And then we can build like a wall. Yeah, let's build right now a wall along there. Then can we put a grate. I may need to make some more grates. Yeah, I need to make some more grates there. And then we can put some walls alongside that, and we can essentially keep this drain, keep building this drain sideways through the cavern, at least a little bit. Actually, let's not send it any further than there. Let's not try to... Do we? Or do we actually go, sod it, we're going to build this entire thing through the caverns? Is that silly? That's probably silly. No, but we're going to want to approach it from this end as well, aren't we? It's going to be kind of inconvenient. Do we come in from higher up and go over the caverns and drain into that? Yeah, maybe that's more sane. Possibly I've got terribly excited at having found the caverns. It's not clear. What does the king want me to make now? He wants a chain, okay. There we go. Let's cancel the designation from there onwards. And then we'll work out how to connect things up to this. And like it'll have slightly more gaps than is perhaps strictly necessary, but it will also look nice. Right, I want more grates, don't I? Yes. Just make another 10 rock grates. Right, do you think we've got enough blocks to fill in that gap now? Yes. Especially since we can then cancel that one. Resume that one. Resume that one. Someone has dumped a pile of clothing there. Well, they'll probably come back for it in due course. So we won't need... Is that an unusable ramp? Apparently not. I don't quite understand how you would use it. Let's wait for some more things to be filled in. Blue diamond, faint yellow diamond. Wow, that's exciting. Maybe we'll have to actually go down into these caverns. Dwarves have suspended the construction of some track. That's inconvenient. Birds have immediately started laying more eggs. I think this is because the items there are all subject to like tasks to move them. Yes, and so they can't be moved by anyone who isn't actually doing the task that requires moving the item. Yes. Oh, we can build that roller at least. So that roller should be running eastwards. And we can build a windmill. Where's the hole in the floor? It's there. We kind of want to try to get it built with those logs, but I'm not sure I can be bothered working out which ones those are. Right. Once the owner of that... Actually, what I could maybe do is... Oh, someone's coming along. Well, we've got these things still to build, haven't we? Yes. Interesting to note here, the dwarf constructing this piece of track, standing in this alcove, I think in order to avoid being on the railway, which is kind of sensible, because the railway is marked as low traffic. Right, no, you've just picked up all those objects. Now I can... This dwarf had left a load of their clothes lying around, I think, and has now come back to put them on, or something, I don't know. Oh yes, I should be making more clothes, shouldn't I? We've got basically no clothes in our new clothes stockpile. Let's just add a bunch of random clothes making tasks. There we go. And I had another thought. Oh yes, I was going to change from making figurines because it was annoying me. Because figurines are kind of fun in that they have, not that we're making any anyway, but still, in that they have, they depict things, but dwarves just end up trying to carry them around as a kind of weird kind of jewellery, and I don't like that. Let's make 3 different kinds of trinket. We'll try to make bone bracelets. We'll make shell rings. And we'll make horn earrings. And like none of these will be valid at the moment because we haven't actually slaughtered anything recently, but and set the limit to 15 so we save a few for strange moods. Right. Have we got some more nest boxes yet, I wonder? No. Right, so those rollers are still waiting to be constructed. That's fine. Well, we're successfully building these walls nicely. No one has brought the floor grates down yet, though. Oh yes, I should do my usual thing of trying to empty this trench, shouldn't I? So mark that as a stockpile of all things from nowhere. No bins, barrels or wheelbarrows. And then up here mark that area as a stockpile of all things from nowhere except from the lower stockpile. No barrels, no bins, no wheelbarrows. And that will cause all of the rock from the ditch to be hauled up a little higher. Oh yes, we'd quite like that, the random rock that's lying around in there to be cleared out. Can I designate a stockpile on top of the tracks? Yes, good. Right, so we'll do the same thing here. All things from nowhere. No barrels, no bins, no wheelbarrows. All the things from nowhere. No bins, no barrels, no wheelbarrows, but take from that stockpile. Well, surgeon is too clever for the cat. Yes, the surgeon is slightly bruised from the horse, from trying to geld a horse. Oh, didn't I turn off messages about people standing up? Did I not? I thought I did. Stand up. Oh, it's set to report brackets active. No. Maybe it... Oh, did I press escape like I just did rather than done? Let's have a look. Oh, it is set to no. There are like save settings somewhere. Doesn't seem to be. Oh, I should clearly turn those up for next time. It's still being constructed. Right, the gear assembly is running now. Right, we've built one of the grates, which means we can start installing walls and the next grate. If we've got any grates made yet. We have one. Right. You guys are probably shifting those rocks out of the drain. Right, the rollers are now complete. The clearing of the rocks is almost complete. That probably means I could also clear those ugly logs from the departure area as well, couldn't I? Let's do that. All items. None of them. None of them. None of them. From nowhere. Give to that stockpile. Oh, I didn't choose done. That probably didn't work, did it? That one. Oh, yes, it did. Right. Right, so that stockpile is now empty. We can thus abolish it. Right. So those rollers are happily running. Those rollers are running. There's no one has any cause to go into that area. Let's just check that we can set a minecart running through it before we fill it with water. So we can just add a new condition that says push off west. Oh, something's happening. Let me pause. Push off west immediately, always. Have you found another dead baby, or is it the same dead baby as before? No, you've just finally found the baby. Okay. No, there are 2 dead babies there now. What? That's just inconvenient. Okay, that's not an important alert. Don't worry, shortly you'll be able to die by plummeting 74Z levels into the caverns. Right, there may be some animals to add to the gelding list. There's the minecart. So they'll get to spend a lot more time in the water now. Right, that seems to work. So now I suppose we want to fill it. Well, actually, there was another thing I wanted to do first, which was to try to avoid having so many holes in the floor up here. But I think we actually want to have a hole there for water to be used to fill fill the fill the swimming training system with. So then I think I want to abolish that lever and that pressure plate. And we should see if we've made any grates yet. No, because then we can put a grate there to make us slightly less likely to accidentally wash things down into the training system. What's going on with that lump of limestone? Is that... all right, I think that's probably assigned to make that wall. At some point, someone's going to build that wall. So that means that otherwise we could, if I'm right about that, we could abolish that stockpile, and that should still be assigned. That lump of limestone there is still assigned to a task, yes, and thus we can also abolish that stockpile. Right. Still got something going wrong with beekeeping. Right, so now if I were to demolish that wall, actually, there's something solid under there. I could demolish that wall and replace it with a floor, I suppose. It isn't really necessary. What I want is for the water to come out from the pump here, if possible. So I think... that means we should build a wall there. See, we are actually pressing some honey. Things aren't completely hopeless in the beekeeping department. You got any grates yet? No. Make me some grates. I have asked for some grates, haven't I? Yes, make rock grate. Shush. Simon said again. Right, now we can... oh no, we can't build any further down here because we need more grates. Right. Meanwhile, let's dig a staircase down into that section so we can build the tracks for the next extension of the minecart swimming training system. Right, all of the wood has now been cleared out, so we can abolish that stockpile and that stockpile, and now we can see all the tracks down here. Hooray! Oh yes, under here there's a track stop that I think must be not configured to dump because all of my minecarts are full of water. Let's fix that. Let's remove that track stop and rebuild it correctly. What do you want now, King? Oh, mail shirts. Well, we could make a couple of steel mail shirts and that'll actually be good. I think we've got enough steel for this. Plus we've got chalk now. We can start making our own steel if I'm organised. Of course, the minecart is now running, being pushed around continuously. I suppose we could set people riding it just to check that that bit works, but I'm pretty sure it does. And here comes someone carrying the minecart, which is a fairly slow process because it is quite heavy. Because it's full of water, which I want to fix. And putting it back at the start of the track, and then sending it off again. Right, that's all good. Okay, I think the thing that's actually our rate limiting factor on making those rock grates that we want is that, all right, a couple have been made, is that it's necessary to haul stone all the way up to the, which one of these is more valuable? That one. All the way up to the stonecutter's workshop, which takes a little while. Right, so has that track stop been demolished? Yes. Then we have the weird thing that it turns out there's no track in this square, which seems like an error. Designate, carve a track from there. All right, because I don't think I can carve a track onto a constructed track, so it would have to be a constructed track. Okay, I can afford to construct a track. And then we can cancel the lower one. And that will just leave us constructing the end of the track, just for because we should. Right. And then on top of that we construct a track stop, and then that should empty the water from the minecarts, which will start to fill our thing with water. I don't think there's any reason why anyone should be going down into the swimming area now. So I'm going to turn on all 3 minecarts to check that that works correctly. Possibly actually increase the number of minecarts as well. We still won't let anyone ride them. And we should probably add like a few more minecarts. Let's test the system with 3 minecarts, and if that works then we'll try increasing the number of minecarts. Oh, someone just got run down by a minecart. Or possibly not. No, apparently managed to dodge the minecart. What are you doing there? Oh, you're building the end of that track. Okay, I'll let you off. Right, and now we can build a track stop there. I think.
Minecart accident investigation board.
Yes. Which should dump the which doesn't matter about the friction, but it importantly needs to dump stuff westwards. Oh dear, what were you doing there? You were picking up a minecart, weren't you? Which meant that you were standing on the minecart track. Ow. Well, someone will have to come and help you then.
to you somehow at some point on Friday.
I think that's about as accurate as I
I'll
can
be over there when you arrive.
Right.
Okay, I'm slightly worried that this dwarf is still on the track and there's a minecart on its way.
If only you had a signalling system.
No, we operate on the time delay system here. But yes, there is a bit of a problem that we don't actually have any way to stop the minecarts. I mean, I can stop people launching them, I suppose, which is slightly faffy.
Good night, stream.
Good night. Right, let's turn off launching minecarts to reduce the number of times this poor doctor gets run down. Clonk. Right, that's seriously injured 2 of his limbs. Or her limbs, I haven't checked. His limbs. Yes, I'm sure the king does have a new demand. He wants an iron bed in his dining room. Well, that's impossible. We can't make beds out of iron. Right. The new track stop works, and we now have a small amount of water in the minecart system. People seem to be prioritising shifting these minecarts over what I would have thought was more important, which was getting the injured doctor somewhere. Oh no, he seems to have been taken away. Excellent. Right, so now I think we want to, we can see that the minecarts are now being repositioned sensibly. Oh yes, I was going to have a look at the chores list because I found that I could, you may remember a while ago, I couldn't persuade the chores list to work properly. And I found recently that I could sometimes. So one thing, so now I can make it change things, for instance. So I think in particular we should tell children, don't bury people, don't haul refuse because it includes dead goblins, don't haul stone because it's heavy. Probably don't wrangle animals as well, that's a good way to get yourselves into trouble. Let's turn off a few other heavy things as well. But do clean and operate levers. Right, so all of the minecarts are in the right place. Well, the 3 I'm currently testing. There's a grate up there. I think that means I could safely start the pumps and start pumping water into the system again. So somewhere down here there's a lever that's marked pool pump control. Let us have some, oh, only we can't because it turns out that when you turn off the pool pump control it demolishes the windmill. Yes, because there isn't a windmill up here anymore, that's a mistake. And there's a hole in the floor as well, we should fix that. So actually don't pull the lever yet, let's wait until we've rebuilt the windmill, which we'll do after we've plugged the hole in the floor below the windmill. how are we doing down here? Have we managed to actually get some more grates into position? Yes, good. Actually, can I just ask to build that wall anyway? No. You will point out that it's not currently accessible because we need to construct that grate first. So then what do we want to do? Then we really want to connect up some of the existing drainage system to it. But we really want to carefully strain the stuff out of this section, don't we? So we don't want to just dump that lot. Well, I suppose, yes, no, we don't just want to dump that lot into the thing. Steph asks, sorry, detaching the lever demolishes the windmill. And also Big Beast asks, why on earth is the... So why does the king want a bed in his dining room? I have no idea. I don't think we've even given him a dining room yet. But since he wants an iron bed, he can't have it anyway, because we can only make beds out of wood. Steph points out that water is also heavy. Yes, but water hauling is only doing it in a bucket, and a bucket of water isn't very heavy. The thing about the windmill is, so windmills have a shaft in the middle that you can connect up to from below. But if you do that, it turns out the only thing holding the windmill up is that shaft. So if you disconnect that shaft, the windmill falls over. It also turns out that the way that a lever operates on a gear mechanism, when the gear mechanism is disconnected, it detaches from one of, I think, it stops passing on support from one side to the other anyway. And so if you have a gear mechanism that's supporting a windmill, if you declutch the gear mechanism, it stops supporting the windmill and the windmill collapses, which I think is why the windmill on the top of my above the pump collapsed, except that I thought I'd built the windmill here and it shouldn't collapse there, except that there was a hole in the floor below it for reasons I don't understand. So I'm now going to fill in that hole in the floor and then it won't collapse next time, I hope. So I think because the windmill didn't have anything supporting it from underneath, it was being supported from the side. Or something. Well, we'll see. So it should work better once I've filled in this weird hole in the floor. There is also a hole in the floor there, but that's where the drive shaft to the pump goes in. So yes, what am I going to do about this? I think we thus want to build the same kind of drains that we had for the river, but draining this bit of this channel. Though strictly we probably don't need to be able to turn it off. So that means we need to find somewhere so we want to go to there, set up digging a channel which should go from here northwards to connect up with that channel, and should have a walkway alongside it. Right, we've built some rock blocks. Since we don't currently have major uses for them elsewhere, let's start constructing some of these tracks. How far can we go? About there? Yeah, that's a good guess. And then, as we have now learnt to do, that was wrong, Ben. That corner doesn't go like that. But that's fine. We can't actually build it through the wall, so we'll leave a gap there. And we should suspend, or indeed cancel, I suppose, the ends of the track there. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for that floor to be built, which it has been, and then we want to build a new windmill on top of it. How is our poor doctor doing? Well, he's been cleaned up. We might even have a decent amount of plaster again now. Id Kolnikat, doctor, cancels place track vehicle, unconscious, yes. Got run down by another minecart. So yes, there is a problem there, which is that because you have to stand on the track to pick up the minecart, there is a danger that another minecart will be coming up behind you and will run you down. And I can't currently... Slightly surprised Captain's Guard there. I can't currently think of a way to make the minecart system safe against that. So if anyone could come up with a plan. Right, and we've cleaned the blood off the minecart tracks now. Excellent. And everyone is going to build the first section, first bit of track for the next generation of minecarts. Right, all the gratings are built down here. Now we just want to put in one more section of wall. And then we have nicely cut ourselves off, I think, from the caverns below. Actually, I have a horrible feeling it will turn out that flying creatures can get in. But that's okay, we'll keep tipping water on their heads. I'm sure that'll make them, cause them some trouble. More gelding. Let's geld the kittens before they're old enough to cause trouble. I mean, we won't actually, because our gelders are way behind schedule. Oh no, both the kittens were female, that's fine. Right, and we want to put a floor over there. in order to ensure that people don't have to walk through the water in order to get past here. Right. So that's now dug out as far as we want to go, and that windmill is now running and not falling over. So now the theory is that I should be able to pull the pump control lever, which has just been pulled. The pumps should start. That mechanism will probably get washed out to here, but I hope no further. Water will pour down in and start filling up the pool. Getting a little more leakage than I was hoping for. I'm going to turn that pump off for reasons of safety and make some adjustments. So I think that minecart got accidentally swept into the track. So the pump has stopped. Things are a bit messy. People are having to go down there to retrieve minecarts and things. I think what we could do with is a wall around that grate. What are you doing down there? Oh, right, are you going to retrieve a lost minecart? Right, yes, that's good. Please retrieve the lost minecart. The pumps aren't running at the moment because we're doing a bit more construction to make things safer. So I think actually using that staircase is not particularly wise. I'm going to block the use of that staircase. Actually, let's allow people, if they've somehow managed to get into here, to get into this safe little cubby hole. What does the king want me to make now? I should make some more clothes, I think. We still don't have much in the new clothes stockpiles. Right, so you can see people coming into... yes, indeed, it is a little disaster cupboard for hiding unfortunate dwarves in. Don't lock the cat in there. Right, good. The cat has left. I mean, admittedly, that wall still needs to be built. So how are things looking down here? That's now all finished, so we can collect water down here. So now we want to build... Now I think we want to build a... Is this going to be in the wrong place now? Yes. But we'll do it there. We'll build a staircase, or dig a staircase up to there. Oops, that was set to remove staircases. That's not helpful. Try again. We'll dig a staircase from there to there. And then tunnel to there, I think. And then a vertical shaft down there. And then we'll probably put walls and doors in a lot of those. Which might be a bit silly, but it'll do the job. Well, you're probably getting at practice at dodging things. Right, what was I doing here? Oh yes, I was waiting for that wall to be built so that we can try starting the pumps again. Because that should guide the water a bit more. And then it should plummet vertically down that hole and not flood this level, we hope. Right, it looks like our brewing things from the fruit we bought from the Dwarven caravan is mostly done. Yeah, you're often throwing a tantrum. I suppose actually when I mostly want my military dwarves to learn how to swim, and they have the advantage that they wear armour, so they're probably a lot less liable to be hurt by having minecarts crash into them. So obviously if we can organise that, then things will be much safer. Okay, we're still trying to get a miner down here. Child is fighting, I mean, did get run down by a minecart, but is actually just busy attacking the doctor. Oh, you're like a 3-year-old child. How have you managed to get teeth out of someone? Oh, we need to do the stockpile trick again down here, don't we? Especially because we're probably going to drop quite a lot of rock down there in a moment. Yes, indeed, we need them to be able to swim in full armour. The cat may miss a king. Dwarven child punches the king in the left foot. That feels brave. Right, that wall is now built. Now let's start the pumps again. So the theory is that now water will just flow out to here, fall straight down through that hole and not flood this layer or this layer. That's the theory. So water's coming down here, but while we get lots of numbers appearing in that square, they're not appearing, none of these squares is going above 1, which is the water we got last time. Right, good. That's nice. Right, so now we need to pay attention to the depth of water in here. We want to get it up to over 4 in every square. And like we've actually got enough space that it takes a little while. Partly because I think this narrowing here is restricting the flow a bit, but like that's good. Not having insane amounts of water flow might be quite a nice thing from time to time. Okay, this system is drowning children faster than I was expecting. Like, I knew I had to turn it off, had to fix it, but like it now has 3 drowned children in it. Well, I'm glad we're going to be stopping it soon. Well, it's true. Also, we have a small amount of water leakage here. Let's work out where that's coming from. Let's try to get that smoothed. Right, we're running out. Oh, we're running out of steel. That's unfortunate. Stray yak bull has come into existence. Let's check that they're scheduled for gelding, if not already gelt. Yeah, they're scheduled for it. Right, the gelding process is going pretty well. We've got a lot of them now. Not many left, not many adult animals left that need it. So most of that shaft is now clear. Now we want a hatch cover there, don't we? And a door next to it. And then here we're going to want to put a yes, we should put that flux stone to use, but like it's 10 to midnight. Let's try to finish the things I'm currently working on. Oh yes, how's the water level doing? No, that's not full yet. Yes, this filling system is much less scary than it used to be. I just have to be able to average the depth by eye. Stop it! That's 4 babies, 4, 5, far too many babies we've drowned. And now there's a puppy drowning itself. Actually, maybe the puppy can swim. Not so sure about that. I mean, the puppy does seem to be doing all right. Okay, the silk shirts task has stopped working properly. Apparently we've run out of silk. Right, so that floor hatch is installed. Now we want to provide a lever. think that should actually be called East River Middle Drain. And that's the lower drain. Oh, someone's collected the eggs. Excellent. That means that the food situation is no longer terrifying, which means that we could either slaughter some animals or we could start fishing again. Given the stupid animal situation, I think we should take some of our older, less useful animals and slaughter them. Like the ingredients stockpile might actually have some space in it, not sure. I mean, is the kitchen now not full of rotting food? Indeed. Right, that looks like that's adequately full. Let's turn off the pumps. Well, the pump. Right, the pump has stopped. The windmill has not collapsed. Excellent. Oh, there is still some flooding in the wrong place. Damn it. Or at least none of the minecarts in the fallen into the water. Looks fine. No one is to get washed down the holes in the floor. Good. So I think what happened was when this square filled up, it started overflowing into this area, which is a bit unfortunate, but there we go. Right, anyway, we want to establish a lever up here. That will operate that lower drain. Obviously, if we were clever, we would arrange that this area was precisely 5/7 full all over or something. Sadly, we haven't, and it will ripple. Right, so this section is now drained. So now I think we want to start the minecarts moving again. Let's start with one minecart. And for safety, we won't ride it yet. See, that at least is an acceptable death. We wanted that death. That's the death of a cow. Well, a yak. Oh, cow. Whatever. Reindeer. Right, we don't need cartilage. Probably don't need hair. We definitely don't need nervous tissue. The rest of it we can actually turn into something useful. Right, and the minecart is moving. Let's just check that it actually reaches its destination. You can see it slows down quite a lot in that central section, but that's good. That means Jutton says, I assume that when minecarts fill with water, some is subtracted from their environment such that dumping them won't gradually overfill the dwarf washer. Yes, I think so. Plus, they don't fill up unless they're in 7/7 water. So they shouldn't actually collect any water. Shouldn't. Okay, I'm now slightly concerned. It looks like that there's one square of track that never actually got constructed. Well, when we next drain the dwarf washer, we'll finish constructing it. Okay, so I think it's now safe to ride this thing. I think for safety, we might want to try to keep it only for the military, but the thing is all of them are going to be training at the moment. Well, let's see what we can do. If we go to labour, is there a minecart pushing option? Right, I think it's not. Is it come under hauling? Right. Okay, the haulers group doesn't appear to have any tasks assigned to it. Oh, it's right at the bottom. There it is. Blah, 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 push/haul vehicles. So let's take that off the generic haulers. Add a new work detail for minecart riders. So can we now find military dwarves in here who are currently in military mode? Yes. Let's at least mark all of them. But I think all of them are probably busy training and won't come and push minecarts. Obviously, we'd like everyone to be able to swim, but let's start with the ones who... I think wheelbarrows don't count as vehicles. I think, though, that will count... Moving wheelbarrows will come under moving... that's how I should have organised it. Will count as moving the thing hauling the thing that's in the wheelbarrow. So that will be fine. So I suspect we will now find that no one will actually operate the minecart. But let's also change the minecart to be rideable. And then see if anyone schedules themselves to do it. Meanwhile, we've still got leakage into there, which will in part be coming through the walls. Let's smooth them in case it helps. Where did that turnip wine come from, eh? Can we safely abolish that now? Yes, we can. We still need that door to be built. Abolish the things that we use to clear that out. Stockpiles. What's going on with that door? Has it got suspended somehow? No, it's just being moved very slowly. Is anyone moving the minecart? Yes. That's odd because I didn't think you were meant to. Oh well, let's see what you're doing. All the minecart to where it's meant to be. Right, so you've at least put the minecart back at its start. Now is anyone thinking that it's their job to sort out the minecart? Yes. Again, someone who I thought shouldn't be doing it. Well, we'll worry about that in a bit. There are an awful lot of dwarves around. Whee! There we go. That was someone successfully riding the new minecart system. Let's turn on the other two minecarts and see who gets killed. No, let's see if we can work out what's going on with the with why. So that's set to only selected. Oh, it would help if we actually put the push/haul vehicles into it, wouldn't it? Just check we've successfully done that. Right. Don't know if she learnt any swimming. I wasn't paying attention. Can't remember who it was now. I suspect it will take quite a lot of rides to learn an adequate amount, learn enough swimming for us to be able to see. This task, I think, was probably assigned before I fiddled the job allocations. If it turns out that place track vehicle is a different kind of job, that would be kind of infuriating. We should probably schedule making some more clothes then. Let's make some gloves. Because it's actually place track vehicle that's the dangerous operation. Right, and now push track vehicle has no one assigned to it, probably because all the people who should have it assigned to them are busy training. So now let's pick someone from here. Odom Ollie something or other. Right, you will be added to people who can push track vehicles. Will that now mean that you're the one doing it? No, someone else is doing it. Someone who is not... Okay. So let's just see if anything interesting happens. Currently a dabbling swimmer. Like, I doubt one ride is going to be enough to get you up to novice. Yeah, the other minecart system, like, it only has one minecart in it. So that wasn't enough to actually change swimming ability. So we still seem to be having surprising people getting to do this job. But like, I know we did get some people up to novice swimmer before. We really want we really want people at adequate swimmer if possible, because that's the point at which you can swim even if you enter the water surprisingly. Right, that's some of the blood cleaned up as well. Excellent. Right, let's see what's going on. I just spotted something being born. add those 2 kittens to the gelding list. Right, what's going on? Oops. Down here then. How close are we to being able to actually stop drowning children? Mostly we need people to stop standing in this room. But we quite like that wall smoothed as well. I think it's designated for it. Make sure. Because I'd like as little water as possible to be gratuitously leaking in. Though it's fairly safe for water to gratuitously leak in there. Because I'm wondering if we need to put any systems for controlling this water, but I don't think we do. That was a pointless thing. Ooh, there's water coming in here. Where's that water coming from? Oh, it's because you opened that door. Yes, okay. Right, that's now nicely smoothed. That will at least minimise the water. Let's lock that door permanently. Oh, we want a door here as well, don't we? That's going to slow us down a bit. Not by much, though, because we also don't want to lock that door permanently, because we need to connect up the floor hatch to the new lever. So we have a new lever here. And we want to link that lever to that floor hatch, which will take a little while. Right, good night, Steph. I mean, it's not fully working, but people are riding it happily. The king is riding the minecart. This has been officially opened by royalty. Right, let's turn on the other minecarts. I don't know why it's not being properly restricted. I think. Let's just have one more look. So, 6. Only selected do this. The selected do not include the king. The tasks include push/haul vehicles, haulers, tasks. Do not include push/haul vehicles. Why are people who are not members of that group riding the minecart? Don't know. Right, let us re-enable the other 2 minecarts. Let us add 2 more minecarts, I think. I should choose the one that has 0 days because this takes far too long. Right. As you might expect, everyone grows up to be a doctor. Right, we're still consuming food at a decent rate. Let's slaughter some more animals and probably turn on fishing soon as well. Oh, we should lay some more track over here, shouldn't we? Can I do it all the way up to there? Have we got enough for that? Got quite a lot of blocks. Probably haven't got that many. No. Look, multiple people riding the minecarts. We're then going to go up to the top and see who gets hurt when they all crash. Oh, someone's just about to be run down. I think. Oh no, maybe not. Right, no one got seriously hurt. I mean, I don't know that it'll last, but... we'll have no cheese making in this fortress. Have we still got enough? We're not making things out of leather at the moment. Let's make some more things out of leather. Are there any shortage of things made of leather? Seem to have adequate trousers and shirts. Maybe a bit short on shoes, I'm not sure. What else might we want to make? Let's make some leather cloaks and dresses for people who might prefer those. Right, well, we certainly seem to have plenty of dwarves riding minecarts back and forth now. That's nice. I observe... Oh no, I was going to say I observe that someone's been bleeding. No, someone has been spilling wine. That's fine. I don't mind wine turning up spuriously. What are you doing? Oh, you're cleaning the tracks. That's a dangerous operation. Right, let's see how things are going with connecting up that new lever. That's still being worked on, right. Why are you standing there? You're cleaning. Yes, okay, this is going to be a bit dangerous. I've just worked out what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that someone will get run down by a minecart. This will cause them to leave blood behind. Someone will then come along to clean up the blood and will thus be standing on the track when the next minecart arrives. They will get hit by the minecart, leaving some blood behind, and so forth. Okay, we seem to have managed to clean things faster than they got worse. You want a crown, you want a bin. No, that's a leather dress. Oops. Weirdly hard to scroll all the way to the bottom. I'm going to gratuitously make you a wooden crown. You also want a mail shirt, but I'm going to save that until I can be asked doing steel. Look, we've got a novice swimmer here. I mean, I observed there is very little blood on the minecart tracks at the moment. They do seem to be doing all right. Also, that was a little bit of Newton's cradle there. Right, so that seems like people are generally not getting run down by minecarts as often as I had feared. Like, if it happens occasionally and someone has to be taken off and patched up because someone's hit them with a minecart, that's kind of acceptable. Those two are very close together. Let's watch the arrivals. Yeah, that seemed to be safe. Hooray! Yes, I hope they wave to one another too. I suspect they do get to very briefly socialise. Though they are working officially, so maybe they don't socialise. Right, that lever's now connected up. So now, the other exciting event, we can't do quite yet. Actually, let's pull that lever once in order just to let the water that's seeping into the that drainage system escape. Well, pull it twice to drain that water out. Right, opened. The water has now gone from that square. You need it to be closed again for safety. Right. We should forbid that door temporarily so that people can't try to retrieve things while this is going on. We should then remove a wall. Oh no, we want to. Do we want to open it for? Yes, we want to open that hatch while we do that digging, so the water will definitely get away. Pull the lever again, please. Oops. There's some blood. Let's have a quick look at the combat log and see what happened. Oh, except I have no idea how to find the right person because these apparently aren't in chronological order. Oh well. Let's just watch and wait for someone to arrive in the hospital and see what happened to them. Assuming that someone is recovering wounded. Can't find a recover wounded job actually. That's a bit odd. Did they die? No, we would have got a message. Oh well. I'm sure it's fine. Someone is coming down to dig this. Maybe I should find out where they are. Don't walk along there, that's not going to lead to happiness. Right, we have dug through into the old drain. And now my optimistic dwarf is leaving through the drain he's just poured water into. Let's hope this doesn't cause extreme embarrassment. Actually, since that door's now closed, for safety, we could, well, for something approximating safety, we could now urgently flip this switch the other way so as to minimise the amount of water that the miner is racing with on the way out. Right, we seem to have got away with that. There is some water pouring down into the lower sections, but not much. It's certainly not pouring down so fast as to be a problem. And we've closed that again, and at least 2 dead babies are ready to be collected. Let's see if we can get more dead babies into the collection area first. Okay, right, I think we can safely open that valve again. No, sorry. Start from right up by that wall. Right, this is all looking good. Dwarves are riding the mine carts. They're only occasionally getting run down. Even this, despite attempts at keeping the things clean, which seems to involve standing on the minecart tracks without any protection. The king wants me to make more things. The king would like some more chains. Okay. And somewhere down here, objects are gradually getting swept into a drain. And like, this is not ideal in that it's still quite plausible for children to fall into this drain, which is, and then they'll then get swept down here and like end up somewhere quite unhappy and drown anyway. But the next task will then be to start decommissioning sections of the upper drainage system. In particular, we actually want to decommission this stretch as far as we can. Because this section is just too dangerous with the with all the water leaking into it, or at least it's too dangerous to actually have deep water at the bottom of. But to an extent that, Dwarf Fortress is not responding, which is kind of inconvenient when I'm trying to scroll around the map. So I think we still have, do we still have a dead baby over here? Yes. So that's going to require quite a bit more drainage. But like, we are still, I think, reducing the water levels up here, so we should probably be patient. And the water is successfully flowing down here and pouring down into the caverns. Down and 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 down. And currently we are getting a small amount of visible pooling on at the bottom of the caverns. Oh, we can actually see it collecting at the very low Z level minus 74. So that's helpful. And spring has arrived, and people are riding minecarts happily. And we are working on the next extension of the minecart track that will allow them to spend even longer in the water. And mostly they don't seem to be being hurt by it, and this is all good. Right, well, I mean, I'd like to actually get to bury the dead babies, but I don't think I'm going to try to do that tonight. I think we will leave the water draining for now. And see what kind of a steady state we reach. And then we'll work out how we're going to proceed and who we're going to bury and how. Right, hooray! Oh, something's rotting. Fix that before we go to bed. Oh, right. We are actually not consuming meat quite fast enough, right? Let's not slaughter anything else for a little while. That's fine. Right. Kitten. So that will be all for tonight, I think. And going to assume that those got assigned properly. Yes, that will be all for tonight, and we will come back probably on Friday. And I don't really know what we're going to do. Probably finish off rebuilding the drainage system to drain everything into the caverns and shut down the pump stack, which is still running at the moment, but which will be starting to be starved of water. Yes, and seeing if we can get everyone up to adequate swimmer so that when the next goblins come, we can duck into the water and they won't. And they will all drown, because that's an excellent way to kill goblins. Right, so until then, I think we will say good night. Good night.